Hey everybody, welcome back to the shop for 10 more action-packed minutes of cougar building action. Oh yeah, man, people, that wing got big quick. I got all the stuff glued on it. I got this flap hinged, but I just got the aileron taped in there. John, I need some more of them Brobart pin hinges. But I got this wing just about ready for a good old sand, and everything's fitting pretty good. I'm fairly impressed with all that. You know, a lot of times you get them fiberglass pieces you add, and they just don't fit worth a darn. And these are actually fitting pretty good, people. Now, I end up, I think when I did this, I must have pulled that away just a little bit. So I might glue on a piece of 64th ply on both sides of that just to get a little bit better fit. We'll see how it looks. But that's a little bit too big a gap. The rest of it's all looking awesome. That's a big old jet, man. That wing got huge. And that's going to be a big jet. Oh boy, that Century Jet, I believe his name's John, said his weighs 24 pounds with a 22 pound thrust turbine in it, something like that. I think it's gonna come in a little more than 24 pounds, I'm afraid. But this big old jet will take it. I mean, that's a big jet. That's a 6 scale, I believe, 5.5. So, you know, that my F-16 weighs 40 pounds. And I don't know, might not come out that heavy, but I don't see it happening at 24. These composite parts here are pretty nice, but they're also a little bit on the chunky side. You see where I said down? These wingtips are just hollow, and that was pretty easy to do. I got it glued on there really well. What I did is I traced my wingtips, okay, out on this piece of 1/4 inch balsa. I trimmed it, I put it on that wing, and I sanded it. I just kind of sat there and sanded on it for a while and got it to where it was just a little bit on the thin side. Glued it inside my part. Then once that's set up, put this on my block sander, sanded it flat, glued her on. And that's a nice solid fit. Fits pretty good. Now I'll sand that together, and when I glass my wing, I'll run my glass past that seam a little bit. It won't crack out. Same thing here. I'll run my fiberglass past that a little bit. I'll have that sanded smooth and filled if there's any filling to do. I run my glass here. What I'll do is I'll just bring my glass over and brush my resin past it a little bit and let it set up. When it starts to get rubbery, when I'm ready for my second coat, I'll come in with a razor blade and trim it. That way I get a nice straight clean edge. I'll show you. I'm going to show you guys my glassing technique. I just need to do a little bit of block sanding on all this. It's all pretty good. But I like to sand these seams really good. I use like 60 grit, people. You gotta cut. You gotta cut to get flat. Even though it'll leave scratch marks in my wood, it ain't no big deal when I glass it. You know, once I get it glassed, you'll never, you know, sometimes you can see them scratch marks in my resin, but they don't come through on my primer. And you'll see. But when you sand with smoother paper, you know, it just don't, it wants to ride over the hard spots, you know, and it just won't be flat like it will. I'll hit that with some 60 grit. Bam, it'll cut it and cut it flat and look really good. Be less sanding and priming later. But for now, okay, now I got to get this wing to that stage. I'm going to show you guys how I did that back part a little better. I actually got to take about another 1/8 inch off of this. Went in there, kind of been piddling on it this afternoon, and I sanded the radius on that back edge. I actually used my plane and cut it, and then just finished it up a little sanding so these will slide back in there, you know what I mean? Otherwise they just hit that edge and you could see the raw edge, so I had to taper the back side of them. But I'm going to show you how I did that next couple videos. Okay, now the first thing I got to do is sand, and let's just use this plane. The bevel on this, I'll show you why in a second. Yeah, that'll work good. I'm using that plane whenever I can, because it's got to fit back in there. That's perfect. Perfecto mundo. Okay. Now, mark this back edge. Okay, now this has actually got to be a 1/4 inch smaller than it is. Alright, let's just cut this off here. Why? Because of our sheeting. Man, I have misplaced my lightweight 3-foot straight edge. I just can't find it nowhere. I've been using that big old piece. It's not where I usually keep it. I usually keep it against that back wall. It's not there. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to take a little bit less than a 1/4 inch to allow for a little bit of sanding. Okay, now I'll get this other side. I don't know where. There it is. Okay, now this side. Now we've got a kind of a funny shape to it. Because of the dihedral. Oh, we're running out of time. I might have time to show you that right quick. See, if you look at the front of it, you can see that the bottom is kind of flat and its top comes down and like that. And that's kind of how these come out. But let me get this sanded. I might go ahead and load a couple movies. I got a couple movies to load, and we'll be back with some more Cougar building action. Let me get this part squared away, and we'll get that other wing done tonight too. And I'll put my servo doors in it. So we'll see you back in the shop.